Hi, Miss Leonard's class. It's Riley's grandpa again. It's time for another story time, and we're almost done with the school year. Can you believe that? It's already the May. It's already in May. You guys only have a little bit of school left before you go to the next grade. I hope you're all doing your good work and getting your schoolwork done and having your meetings with Miss Leonard on Wednesdays. I hope that you're getting ready for Mother's Day this coming Sunday. That means you guys all need to give your mom big hugs. Make her a card. It says Happy Mother's Day. Give her a big hug and a kiss. Tell her that you love her. But Miss Leonard has two stories for us today and the Judy Blume book. So we're going to read the stories that she has and then we'll go from there. This first book is called Little Quack's New Friend. Okay, so let's see what happens. It looks like he's a little duck. I'm guessing that's who Quack is. So let's see. Okay. So it says, Mama Duck had 5 little ducklings, Whittle, Waddle, Waddle, Piddle, Puddle, and Little Quack. They all played together in the cool, shady pond. All right. One day, out jumped a teeny green frog. Ribbit, ribbit, I'm little Ribbit, he said. Can I play? So, quack, quack, ribbit, ribbit, 2 little friends went off to play. Did I miss a page? Let's see. Okay, yeah, I missed a page. Oh no. Alright, so let's go back. So Ribbit Ribbit jumps out, and then we get this page. I missed this page. No way, says Whittle. You're too teeny. And you're too green, said Waddle. And you can't quack, said Piddle. And you're a frog, said Puddle. That's okay, said Little Quack. I want to play. And then we get to this page where it says, so Quack, Quack, and Ribbit, Ribbit, two little friends went off to play. Over by the reeds, Little Ribbit said, let's splash. I love to splash, said Little Quack. Splishy splosh. Can I splash with you? Asked Whittle. Uh-oh. So these guys are all watching. These 2 guys are having fun. And he asks, can I play? He asks, can I play too? Let's see what happens. Sure, said Little Ribbit. Splishy splashy splish splash. 3 wet friends. Over in the mud, Little Ribbit said, let's squish. We love to squish, said Whittle and Little Quack. Squashy, squishy, squash. Can I squish with you? Asked Waddle. So these guys are all playing in the mud, and then he says, hey, wait a second. Maybe I like to do that too. Can I play? So maybe he made a mistake about not playing with little Ribbit Ribbit. Of course, said Little Ribbit. Squashy, squishy, squashy, squish. Squished 4 muddy friends. Up on the log, Little Ribbit said, let's bounce. We love to bounce, said Whittle, Waddle, and Little Quack. Boingo, poingo, boingo, poing. Can I bounce with you? Asked Piddle. Seems to me that all the ones who said they didn't want to play because Little Ribbit was different are deciding that maybe Little Ribbit's got some fun things to do. And they're all going to go play with him. What do you think? Why not? Said Little Ribbit. Boingo, 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 boing! Bounced 5 hoppy friends. Not just happy friends, but hoppy friends. Down by the lily pad, Little Ribbit said, "Let's dunk!" "We love to dunk," said Whittle, Waddle, Piddle, and Little Quack. "Palunka, spelunka, palunka, spelunka, palunk." "Can I dunk with you?" asked Puddle. I think that's all of Little Quack's brothers and sisters. And I think they're all going to play with Little Ribbit. "Come on over," said Little Ribbit. Plunka, splunka, plunka, splunka, plunka, splunk. Dunked 6 bottoms up friends. Yep, they're all bottoms up, except these 2 right now. Pretty fun. See, so even though they were different. Then Little Whittle said to Little Ribbit, "You know what? It's okay if you're teeny." "And it's okay if you're green," said Waddle. "And it's okay if you can't quack," said Piddle. "And it's okay that you're a frog," said Puddle. "We all like to play," said Little Quack. Maybe you were Little Ribbit in a situation and felt like other people didn't want to play with you. Or maybe you were Whittle, Waddle, Piddle, Puddle. But maybe not. Then splishy, splashy, squashy, squooshy, poingle, boingle, plunka, spunka. How they played. And it didn't make a difference that Little Ribbit was a green, tiny frog who couldn't quack. They all had fun. What a wonderful story. Hooray for Little Ribbit, our ribbity new friend. Look at them all playing. They're cheering on Little Ribbit. You can hear my dogs. Can you hear my dogs in the background? What a wonderful story. Thank you, Miss Leonard. I have some tea that I'm going to drink because my throat gets dry. Now let's read a book that probably all of you know. Horton Hatches the Egg. I like this book. This book was around when I was a little kid, and I loved it. Sighed Maisie, a lazy bird hatching an egg. I'm tired and I'm bored, and I've got kinks in my legs from just sitting here day after day. It's work, how I hate it. I'd much rather play. I'd take a vacation, fly off for a rest, if I could find someone to stay on my nest. If I could find someone, I'd fly away free. Then Horton the elephant passed by her tree. "Hello!" called the lazy bird, smiling her best. "You've nothing to do, and I do need a rest. Would you like to sit on the egg in my nest?" The elephant laughed. "Why, of all the silly things, I haven't feathers and I haven't wings." "Me on your egg? Why, that doesn't make sense. Your egg is so small, ma'am, and I'm so immense." "Tut, tut," answered Maisie. "I know you're not small, but I'm sure you can do it. No trouble at all. Just sit on it softly. You're gentle and kind. Come be a good fellow. I know you won't mind." "I can't," said the elephant. "Please," begged the bird. "I won't be gone long, sir. I give you my word. I'll hurry right back. Why, I'll never be missed." I think Maisie's telling a fib. "Very well," said the elephant, "since you insist. You want the vacation, go fly off and take it. I'll sit on your egg and I'll try not to break it. I'll stay and be faithful, I mean what I say. Toodaloo, sang out Maisie and fluttered away. There she goes. The first thing to do, murmured Horton. Let's see. The first thing to do is to prop up this tree and make it much stronger. That has to be done before I get on it. I must weigh a ton. So he's propping up the tree. Then carefully, tenderly, gently he crept up the trunk to the nest where the little egg slept. Then Horton the elephant smiled, now that's that. And he sat, and he sat, and he sat, and he sat. Imagine seeing an elephant in a tree, sitting on an egg. Uh-oh. He sat all that day, he kept the egg warm. He sat all that night through a terrible storm. It poured and it lightning, it thundered, it rumbled. This isn't much fun, the poor elephant grumbled. I wish he'd come back, 'cause I'm cold and I'm wet. I hope that Maisie bird doesn't forget. He doesn't look happy, does he? But Maisie by this time was far beyond reach, enjoying the sunshine way off in Palm Beach, and having such fun, such a wonderful rest, decided she'd never go back to her nest. Uh-oh, there she is. That's not a good mama. Uh-oh. So Horton kept sitting there day after day, and soon it was autumn. The leaves blew away, and then came the winter. The snow and the sleet and icicles hung from his trunk and his feet. But Horton kept sitting and said with a sneeze, I'll stay on this egg and I won't let it freeze. I meant what I said and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. Uh-oh, now the animals. So poor Horton sat there the whole winter through. Then came the springtime with the troubles anew. His friends gathered round and they shouted with glee, Look at Horton the elephant's up in a tree. They taunted, they teased him, they yelled, How absurd! Old Horton the elephant thinks he's a bird! They laughed and they laughed, they all ran away, and Horton was lonely. He wanted to play, but he sat on the egg and continued to say, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant, an elephant's faithful 100%. So when he gives his word, he means it. Uh-oh. No matter what happens, this egg must be tended. But poor Horton's troubles were far, far from ended. For while Horton sat there so faithful, so kind, 3 hunters came sneaking up softly behind. What do you think they're gonna do? No good, I bet. He heard the men's footsteps. He turned with a start. The rifles were aiming right straight at his heart. Did he run? He did not. Horton stayed on that nest. He held his head high. He threw out his chest. He looked at the hunters as much as to say, Shoot if you must, but I won't run away. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. But the men didn't shoot. Much to Horton's surprise, they dropped their 3 guns and they stared with wide eyes. Look, they all shouted, can such a thing be? An elephant sitting on top of a tree. It's strange, it's amazing, it's wonderful, new. Don't shoot him, we'll catch him. That's just what we'll do. Let's take him alive. Why, he's terribly funny. We'll sell him back home to a circus for money. And the first thing he knew, they had built a big wagon with ropes on the front and pulleys to drag on. They dug up his tree and they put it inside, with Horton so sad that he practically cried. We're off, the men shouted, and off they all went, with Horton unhappy 100%. Up out of the jungle, up into the sky, up over the mountains 10,000 feet high. Then down, down the mountains and down to the sea went the cart with the elephant nest, egg, and tree. I think I said that wrong. Egg, nest, and tree is what it should have been. There's my doggies again. I don't know if you can hear them. It's almost their lunchtime or their dinner time, so they're barking. Then out of the wagon and onto a ship, out over the ocean, and ooh, what a trip, rolling and tossing and splashing with spray. And Horton said day after day, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant, but oh, I am seasick 100%. looks like he's going to throw up. After bobbing around for 2 weeks like a cork, they landed at last in the town of New York. All ashore, the men shouted, and down with the lurch went Horton the elephant, still on his perch. Tied onto a board that could just scarcely hold him, bump, Horton landed, and then the men sold him. Selling him to this guy, it looks like. Sold to a circus. Then week after week they showed him to people at 10 cents a peek. They took him to Boston, to Kalamazoo, Chicago, Weehawken, and Washington too, to Dayton, Ohio, St. Paul, Minnesota, to Wichita, Kansas, to Drake, North Dakota, and everywhere thousands of folks flocked to see and laugh at the elephant up in a tree. Poor Horton grew sadder the farther he went, but he said as he sat in the hot, noisy tent, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. Then, one day, the circus show happened to reach a town way down south, not far from Palm Beach. And dawdling a long way up in the sky, who of all people should chance to fly by it but that old good-for-nothing bird, Runaway Maisie, still on vacation and still just as lazy. And spying the flags in the tents just below, she sang, What fun! Why, I'll go to the show! And then she swooped from the clouds through an open tent door. Good gracious, gasped Maisie, I've seen you before. Poor Horton looked up with his face white as chalk. He started to speak, but before he could talk, I think I know what's going to happen. That's a long incubation period for that egg, though. Holy crap. Then rang out the noisiest, ear-splitting squeaks from the egg that he'd sat on for 51 weeks, almost a whole year. A thumping, a bumping, a wild, alive scratching. My egg, shouted Horton. My egg, why it's hatching. So Horton says his egg, because he's been on it for a year almost. But Maisie, what is Maisie going to say? But it's mine, screamed the bird when she heard the egg crack. The work was all done, now she wanted it back. It's my egg, she sputtered. You stole it from me. Get off of my nest and get out of my tree. Poor Horton backed down with a sad, heavy heart. Oh. So he's backing down. But that very instant the egg burst apart, and out of the pieces of red and white shell from the egg that he'd sat on so long and so well, Horton the elephant saw something whiz. It had ears and a tail and a trunk just like his. You think the love that Horton put into sitting on that egg soaked through the shell and helped the little animal inside become Horton-like? And the people came shouting, What's all this about? They looked and they stared with their eyes popping out. Then they cheered and they cheered and they cheered more and more. They'd never seen anything like it before. My goodness, my gracious, they shouted. My word! It's something brand new. It's an elephant bird. And it should be like that, because Horton was faithful. He sat and he sat. He meant what he said and he said what he meant. Oh, sorry. Maisie's not very happy. And they sent him home happy, 100%. And look, all his friends are there to greet him. And he gets to bring his little elephant bird baby home. Well, thank you, Miss Leonard. I always enjoy reading that story. It's a fun story. So, we're done with the picture book part. We're now going to do the storybook part. And if you remember... we just read a chapter, and they were at the park, remember? And they did the rides. But this chapter that we're going to, right here, Miss Leonard says that she doesn't want to, and I'm going to tell you why. It's called The Furry Booger, and it's about somebody doing something that they shouldn't. So we're going to go past it here. Ends up going to the doctor because of it. Ugh. Ugh. So we're just going to pass that one. So the next chapter, so we got to use our imaginations, thinking caps on. Let's think about it. This chapter is called Kapui 1. Let's see. All right, I'm going to stick this here so I know where to stop. So are we ready? Yesterday it snowed. The first snow of the season. We built a snowman and Dad put it on. Oh, let's start over again. Yesterday it snowed. The first snow of the season. We built a snowman and put Dad's old hat on top of his head. But last night it rained and made a mess of the snow. It's still raining. A rainy December Sunday. That's not Dad's rain hat. Not that Dad's rain hat is helping our snowman. I watched out the window as he melted away. When he was just about gone, Dad called, "Who wants to go to a movie at the mall?" "I do," the pain shouted. "I want to see Fried." "No fair," I said, because who wants to see a silly movie about a bunch of robots trying to fry each other? "I want to see Unicorn." "Unicorn," the pain said. "That's a girl movie." "It's not," I told him. "It's about two boys and a girl." "But it's still a girl movie." "Well, we'll only go if you can compromise," Dad told us. What's that word?" the pain asked. "Compromise?" Dad said. "It means decide together. It means if Abigail wants red and Jake wants blue," but before Dad could finish I called, "We choose purple." "Good thinking, Abigail," Dad said. I smiled. I like being a good thinker. Then Dad added, "But that's not necessarily the way it works, because maybe there is no purple. Maybe you have to decide on either red or blue because those are the only choices." "I know," I said to Dad. "You can take the pain to see Fried and Mom can take me to see Unicorn." I knew that was good thinking, but Dad said Mom needs the afternoon off to catch up on work. "Okay," the pain said just like that. "I'll see the Unicorn movie." "You will?" I asked. "Yes," he said, "because I'm a good compromiser," Dad said. That made me mad. "How come you didn't give me a chance to prove what a good compromiser I am?" I asked Dad. "I'm sure you'll have the chance to prove how well you can compromise very soon." Dad checked his watch. "Go and get ready. We'll have lunch at the food court." "Yay, the food court!" the pain shouted. "I want pizza! I want burritos!" I shouted louder. "Pizza! Burritos!" "Children," Dad said, "it's time for another compromise." "See you soon? So soon?" I asked. "I told you you'd get the chance to prove how well you can compromise," Dad said to me. But before I could say anything, the pain said, "Okay, I'll have burritos." "Yeah!" I said, "Burritos!" "Not so fast, Abigail. You got to choose the movie. Jake gets to choose what kind of food to have." "But Dad, he only eats white food. Doesn't that make it unfair?" "There's no restaurant in the food court that serves only white food," Dad reminded me. "So I don't think you have to worry about that." The pain was smiling, that sly smile of his. "Okay," I said, "pizza." The pain shouted, "Yay, pizza!" The mall was crowded. Holiday music was playing, and there were decorations everywhere. A big cardboard Santa held a sign pointing to Santa's workshop. That reminded me of something, so I started telling Dad this story about when I was little and Aunt Diana took me to Macy's to see Santa, and I cried because when I sat on Santa's lap, he kept ho-ho-hoing in my face, and he had the most disgusting breath ever. Dad said, "Was Jake there too?" "Jake isn't in this story," I said. "Who wants to be in your boring old story?" the pain said. My story got longer and longer because one thing led to another, and Dad finally said, "How does this story end, Abigail?" And I said, It ends when, and then I looked over at the pain, but he wasn't there, and I turned and checked behind me, and he wasn't there either. I looked all around, and he wasn't anywhere, so I tugged on Dad's arm. "Where's the pain?" "I thought you said Jake isn't in this story." "Dad, I mean, he's gone. One minute he was next to me, and then kapooey, just like that, he wasn't." Dad looked in every direction. Then he ran up and down the mall, calling, "Jake! Jake, where are you?" Uh-oh. I tried to catch up with him. "Dad, wait!" But then Dad found a security guard. "My son," Dad said. He sounded out of breath. "My son is missing!" The security guard went into action, pressing numbers on his walkie-talkie. "Don't worry, sir," he said to Dad. "We deal with this all the time. His name is Jake," Dad told the security guard. "He's 6 years old." "He'll be 7 in April," I added. "He's missing his top front teeth," Dad said. "He has brown hair and brown eyes, and he's wearing I finished for him, a gray sweater with a big kangaroo on the front. Aunt Diana bought it for him from Australia. And Before I could finish telling about the Payne's clothes, we were at the security station. Mom's told us a million times if we ever get separated at the mall, we should tell a security guard. She says he'll take us to the security station and that's where she'll come find us. Maybe the Payne forgot our plan because he wasn't there, and no one had heard anything about a boy who was lost. Suddenly I heard a man's voice over the loudspeaker. "Attention shoppers! We have a missing 6-year-old boy, last seen near Toy City. If you see him, notify security immediately." Then he described the Payne. After that, he said, "Stay where you are, Jake. We're going to find you." "Try to stay calm, sir," another security guard told Dad. I wanted to tell him my dad is always calm. I wanted to say there's no one in the whole world who's more calm than my dad, but I didn't, because I could see in Dad's eyes he was worried, and seeing Dad that way was scary. If I was the one who was lost, Dad wouldn't be worried. He'd just say, "Abigail, we missed our movie because of you." Now, there were security guards everywhere, a regular police too. I could see them from the window of the security station. Some of them were driving around in carts, and the loudspeakers didn't let up. "We'll find him," the guard told Dad. "I know we will," Dad said. "We have to, and then you can tell him what a pain he is," I thought, and how he made us miss our movie. I didn't actually say any of that out loud because I started to think of the Payne being lost and scared. Then I got scared and grabbed Dad. "Is he going to be okay, Abigail?" He said. "Promise?" I asked. He hugged me. "I promise." All right, that was a good chapter. So, thinking caps on. What does the movie look like? Fried robots frying each other, or a unicorn about 2 girls and a boy, or 2 boys and a girl? I can't remember. What do they look like? The mall. How about the pizza that they were going to have? And how about the security guard? What did the security guard look like? Or the carts that they're driving around on? Use your imagination. Put a description below. And I hope you guys have a great week. I will see you next week. We'll come up with some other stuff. Only a couple more weeks of reading, so bye guys. Love you, Riley. Bye, Miss Leonard's class.